You know what's funny?
crazy,
it's all on the audio.
Like
Go listen to it, dipshit. It's on the audio.
Were,
you don't know what you're talking about. You're a pathological liar. You are a propagandist. It's on the audio. You can go listen to it if you gave a fuck.
Both AB and Olivia were chiming in. I don't know why we buttoned it. I'm just asking. You know, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal.
What are you implying here? What are you implying with this photo?
What photo? Oh, with the photo. Okay, so let's begin. This is going to finally cause us to talk about Israel-Palestine.
Bro, just explain what you're trying to say.
By your own admission, there is a genocide that is taking place in the Gaza Strip. By your own admission, there is also an apartheid structure both in the West Bank, but I don't think you believe that there's an apartheid happening within Israel proper by your own terms.
I don't think
Yeah, okay. So do you feel as though Israel is somehow inseparable from both of these actions?
No, but obviously the conditions are different in Israel proper versus the West Bank versus Gaza. Like the West Bank has checkpoints. It has like different areas of zones of interest. People don't have freedom of movement. So obviously that's more apartheid-like than the main body of Israel. Yeah.
Don't you feel like you going to Israel proper would actually resemble someone going someone going near Auschwitz and being like, well, it's actually beautiful there. It's not that big of a deal.
No.
It's multicultural. Oh, you don't see the comparison.
Well, I mean, where Israel, you mean in Tel Aviv? So you're saying that...
Jonathan Glazer, who made this video, Jonathan Glazer, who made this Oscar-winning movie, does see the comparison.
So hold on, your criticism.
He said as much.
You're saying
Oscar award.
All I said was my lived experience in Israel proper. Is the problem that Israel proper? That sounds racist or something?
No, I think you're trying to present Israel as a beautiful multicultural land when it is directly doing a genocide across the border boundary. Okay, and also is an apartheid on a good day.
Yeah, I make a distinction for sure.
You can't.
I lived there for 5 years in Tel Aviv.
From the crimes that is happening 6 miles away, Ethan. That's my point. So
6 miles from where I live in Tel Aviv? 6 miles from what?
I don't know how many miles away it is from.
It's a lot further than 6 miles. What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know how many miles away it is. That's not the point. It's close enough that you can see it. If you go to Sderot, you can watch it.
The point you're making is that everybody living in Israel is living next to a concentration camp.
Yes.
So I said, bro really said my lived experience in Israel proper. And you're saying that I am a Nazi officer living casually and enjoying life as people are.
No, you're not directly a Nazi officer.
Well, that's what this says.
No, Ethan, you're taking it a little bit too literally. I think the point there with that imagery is not that it's a Nazi officer.
Why did you choose the one with the guy standing in it?
Well, I'm actually interpreting the work of art in the exact same way that Jonathan Glazer, who made this piece of cinema, interpreted it. The entire point is you can have a wonderful life as an American Jew in Israel. Of course you can have a wonderful life in Israel. That's the point, because Israel is a ethno-religious supremacist apartheid state that is currently doing a genocide. It is the entire underlying principle of why this nation state was founded. That's what it was founded on. It was founded on exterminationist principles of the indigenous Palestinians, which you seemingly agree to. So yes, if you actually think Israel is doing a genocide, then it comes across as rather odd that you would go to Israel to show how multifaceted and how wonderful Israel is.
I mean, yeah,
it would be exactly like someone saying, "Oh, you don't understand. I'm German. I am going to Poland. I'm going to go to Warsaw. I'm going to go to Auschwitz.
It's not the same at all, dude.
How wonderful Auschwitz looks like because it's German territory."
Okay, I lived in Tel Aviv. I worked beside Palestinians. I worked with them. I took the bus with them. I walked around the streets with them. I went to the restaurants. They worked with me in my businesses. It's not what people expect. That's my point. You don't see...
Yeah, that would be lying. That would be lying to your audience about the actual totality of Israel. You want to talk about my totality of anti-Semitism inferred off of of like hyper specific narrow definitions that you have invented in your mind. Talk about the totality of a country that you recognize is doing genocide. You think it's appropriate? You think it's appropriate to go to Israel while there is a fucking genocide going on? By your own
you did a show with me and you consider me your friend, and you knew that I was apparently a Nazi officer that whole time.
What?
I said you were considering me a friend. You did a show with me. You knew I lived in Israel that whole time. I'm surprised you were willing to work with a Nazi officer.
I also have interviewed members of the Knesset, as a matter of fact, like Ofer Kassev. I have interviewed Israelis from the anti-Zionist youth movement Mezarvot, Israeli members. Israeli Jewish citizens that have refused service, refuseniks. I don't have an issue with people that have lived in Israel. Some of the reason why I know the total and utter depravity of the inception of Israel comes from Exeter University's very own Ilan Pappé. His writings are what guide me. Of course, I don't have an issue with people that have lived in Israel and no longer live in Israel, or even still live in Israel, as a matter of fact. As long as they are anti-Zionist, because I care about Zionism as an ideology. I do not care about Jewish people or Israeli people. These are not a part of my consideration, because I believe in the best of people. I believe that people, regardless of the circumstances that they've been presented with, can see right from wrong.
Okay, very good.
And I thought foolishly that you were one of these people.
Very good.
I foolishly thought you could also see right from wrong. But it's obvious to me that you have simply used what is going on for the past 16 months of horrific mass bombing and starvation.
Hassan, you got to stop. You got to stop with the gish galloping. I know. You're righteous and I'm evil.
I'm explaining to you my position.
Let me respond. I agree with you. I think that my characterization of it as a utopia, like in that moment, was distasteful, and I wish that I had said that differently. And I see that it came off bad. It came off bad, and I was wrong on that one. I totally agree. Watching that clip back, I'm regretful about how I spoke about it. So I agree with you.
Okay, that's fair. See, this is. I wish you were this open-minded for the past 16 months, Ethan, because I feel like a lot of the conversations that have taken place.
My problem is not with your philosophy on Palestine. My problem is with your community and the harassment you've leveled against me and my family.
People make inferences off of what you say. They do not know what's in your heart. Okay, and this is something that I privately,
on a lot of things. The issue is the harassment.
Talked to you about in the beginning after October 7. I told you time and time again privately.
Okay, bro, you've talked a lot. Let's just move on, please.
You are behaving like a. The reason why people think you are a Zionist is not because you're Jewish, but because of what you're saying.
What did I say that's Zionist?
And they made these inferences.
What have I ever said that shows that I'm Zionist?
Ethan, the way that you have tackled the subject matter.
Say one thing that has shown the world, undoubtedly, how Zionist I am. That I am worthy of the scorn of you and the entire left.
How wrong that was, what you just said.
Okay, so does that mean I'm a Zionist? I mean, and by the way, that was a recent clip. That doesn't explain the last 2 years.
Yes, it doesn't.
So what did I say in the last 2 years besides that clip?
As well.
What did I say, Hassan? What did I say that's Zionist?
As last month.
You can't give me one fucking contextual example of me saying something that's Zionist after this entire... Go ahead.
Yeah, okay.
You have something?
I have many things.
As recently
as last month. List
one example of me saying something.
I'm giving you another example. Just calm down and listen. As recently as last month,
you're not answering my question. You're just doing this gish galloping.
Hamas is actually putting hostages inside of hospitals. Hamas is actually using tunnel systems under hospitals, and that is part of the reason why Israel is bombing hospitals. Bombing hospitals is a war crime. Okay. Bombing hospitals is a war crime. In your conversation with Sam Cedar, while on the one hand, you now recognize that Israel's doing a genocide, and you have in the past as well, for sure, but you've also gone back and forth on it, and you've called it a war or whatever. But having said that, in your conversation with Sam Cedar, you thought you had a gotcha where you said that, well, I find it very strange that there's not a single bomb shelter in Gaza.
That's a condemnation of Hamas.
What?
That is a condemnation of Hamas.
I think it's a condemnation of your assessment of reality.
How is that pro-Zionist?
Look at the Gaza Strip.
How is me criticizing Hamas pro-Zionist? Would you like to explain that?
Do you think a bomb shelter would actually survive bunker buster bombs?
It'd be a lot fucking safer than
There's not a standing structure
the 7th
remaining
floor
in
of an
most parts
apartment
of Gaza.
building.
For Israel to actually systematically destroy
You're
every
okay with
hospital
Hamas spending the
that a bomb
totality?
shelter would
Can I
just
ask you a
simply be
question?
fucking crosshairs.
Can I please ask you a question? Again, me criticizing Hamas makes me a Zionist?
You criticizing Hamas makes you a Zionist?
That's what you're claiming.
I mean, it depends on it depends on what you're saying. Yes.
Well, you know exactly what I said.
You can have criticisms of Hamas in terms of like their own internal domestic affairs, in terms of their governance. But if that's your hyper focus, then yes, people are going to make that inference that you are definitely against any kind of resistance against the state of Israel.
Because they don't make bomb shelters?
Because your expectation,
because they don't make bomb shelters?
from the Palestinians is to just simply sit there and take it so you can fucking act like you felt bad 10 years down the line.
Everything that you claim, the whole fucking apparatus of harassment that exists across social media with you at the center of it, it infringes on an inference that you maybe meant this. I have never once said I'm Zionist. The only reason people believe that is because you repeat it maliciously
the reason
time
why people
and time
believe
again.
That is because of your hyper focus
Name
on
one.
you, and your distractions
that makes me a Zionist?
away,
that makes
and your
me a Zionist?
deliberate deplatforming attempts towards pro-Palestinian content creators.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous.
Being pro-Palestine doesn't absolve you of guilt.
You recognize the genocide, but you also literally get mad at people who fight back. You get
so
mad
I'm
at the
public
Houthis.
enemy
You
number
call
one.
them terrorists. You call Hezbollah a terror group, which is by the American state's definition absolutely considered a terror group. But there are plenty of terror groups that have
Hold on. Do you not consider Hezbollah a terror group?
Against American imperialism and other forms of settler colonial violence.
Do you not consider Hezbollah a terrorist group?
I think the definition of terrorism by the American State Department is intentionally vague to deny people their habeas corpus, deny people their due process. It is there to justify whatever kind of militant action that the American government can take. This is a severe violation of the American Constitution. So yes, I think that this definition is intentionally vague and it's
Can I request something?
It's silly.
Can I please request something? I'm interested in having a conversation. You take this and you just go on and on and on and on. You repeat yourself. You double down on the same point. I just want to have a conversation. You make your point and then you move on. You're doing too much. Please. We're going to be here.
The American terrorism designation is silly. Do we agree?
I don't know. But
what do you mean? But
here, I'll be more precise.
You use its definition without ever actually thinking about it? What do you mean?
Let me be more precise. Here's what you said.
Hezbollah is a paramilitary organization.
Do we like them or no?
They are a terrorist organization. Like they're designated. They are designated by the American state as a terrorist organization.
I do not like them then.
Well, like
I like what you like.
I don't have an issue with them. Let's just say.
What did you mean by that? You do not have an issue with Hezbollah.
Okay, yeah, thank you for asking.
You're
exactly.
welcome.
All right, let me explain. I do not have a single issue with the way that Hezbollah has defended southern Lebanon.
Me neither,
I do not have a single issue with Hezbollah as a form of militancy trying to incur penalties on the genocidal state of Israel. Because if you recognize that it is a genocide, then what is the expectation from other parties involved in the region? The very fact that other countries, other countries are not also up in arms is ridiculous, considering that Israel is a belligerent force that is destroying everything in the fucking region because it has an underlying exterminationist policy. And you agree with that because it's a genocide. You said it's a genocide.
All right,
so what is the expectation?
Please, this conversation is becoming impossible if you don't just stop talking for a minute and allow me to respond. Okay.
Now respond.
Thank you. Hezbollah, when it was first founded, I think was a noble thing, right? Of defending Lebanon from the IDF invasion, and they were successful in sending them back to Israel. Now, since then, a lot of terrible shit has happened, right? And you sat there and you said, I do not have a problem with them. So do you not have a problem with what Hezbollah did in Syria, mass murdering civilians on the behest of Assad?
Can you find a single instance where I've actually said I have no problem with Hezbollah's actions in Syria?
You said I don't have a problem with Hezbollah.
No, that specifically.
You know what's so funny?
Do you feel like that is the entirety of my conversation? Because I have talked about Hezbollah's actions in Syria, as a matter of fact, and I do have a problem with that.
You're precise with your words, right?
I don't think that harming civilians is in any way, shape, or form remotely correct. Now, having said that, I'm glad that you brought up Hezbollah because, again, in your video, you falsely claim that Hezbollah is responsible for 500,000 deaths in the Syrian conflict.
Yeah.
Okay? You say that Hezbollah is responsible for 500,000 deaths in the Syrian conflict. That is the entirety of the deaths, including the Hezbollah militancy in the Syrian civil war.
And therefore what? They did nothing wrong?
No. That's not what I'm saying. So
what does it matter the exact count? Why does that bother you?
You erroneously claimed that they were responsible for all the deaths. You stood in front of footage. You stood in front of footage of an entire town that was destroyed by what? By barrel bombs. Who has the capacity to have a air force and use barrel bombs to destroy an entire city? Do you think Hezbollah has an air force? They
participated. You're not listening. You're being silly.
Is that why you posted that photo?
Why are you defending Hezbollah's action in Syria? Do you think that's a good look?
I'm not defending that. I'm not
sure are. You're like, Hezbollah didn't do that. Hezbollah would never blow up a village in Syria.
Do you think Hezbollah has an air force?
Do you think I think that?
Well, you implied it when you showed a hollowed out town that was barrel bombed.
They worked
most likely by Russian
government,
forces.
Bro.
So why did you use that imagery to imply that Hezbollah had killed 500,000 people?
They were complicit.
That is a false. This is my main problem with you, Ethan. You are spreading.
You're defending terrorism right now, by the way.
What?
You are defending a terrorism right now.
No, dude, I'm defending the truth. How is this so hard to comprehend for you?
The truth is what Hezbollah did in Syria wasn't that bad?
They did not kill 500,000 people.
Okay, so it wasn't that bad?
Ethan.
So what Hezbollah did in Syria wasn't that bad? How many did they kill?
Assad regime. You're
minimizing their actions. How many did they kill?
You're taking the responsibility away from ISIS. You're taking the responsibility away from the Russian
No, I'm putting
military.
blame on Hezbollah where it belongs. How many did they kill?
I don't even know the exact number of how many they killed. I believe it's like around 2,000 to 5,000, which once again is inappropriate. I have no issue saying that.
Did they collaborate with Assad?
They did, yes. They did.
And so what is the issue here exactly? You said you have no issue with them. I think that's a problem.
I think I've described it numerous times at this point. I have no issue with Hezbollah's militancy against a state that is conducting a genocide. That much is very clear.
You didn't say any of that. You said I do not have a problem with Hezbollah. You're lying.
As a matter of fact, there are plenty of instances where I have talked about Hezbollah's militancy in Syria.
When you're done lying, I'll explain.
Wait, what?
When you're done lying, I'll explain. You didn't say that.
You said I'm lying.
You said I don't. You were talking to a normie.
Now.
You were talking to a normie who didn't understand anything about the conflict, and he said, how do we feel about Hezbollah? A general question. How do we feel about Hezbollah? Your answer was, I don't have a problem with them. Let's just say. And then, by the way, Hasan, you start trying to minimize their inclusion in this fucking wanton slaughter of Syrian civilians.
Wait, what? I'm minimizing their inclusion of the wanton slaughter of Syrian
Here's what you
civilians?
said, because you want to be precise.
You made up I like what you like. Ethan, I don't have an issue with them. Let's just say they killed 500,000 civilians. What are you talking about? I did not minimize their wanton slaughter in the Syrian civil war.
Do you think that they didn't participate with Assad to make that happen? I mean, they were allied. They participated. Okay, so then why are you defending them?
I'm not defending them,
sounds like
Ethan. I have already described to you that I am critical of their actions. You are misquoting me. You are misunderstanding.
I am verbatim repeating what you said. You liar.
I'm having a conversation directly with you, so I don't understand.
How can you lie to people? Like we just watched the clip.
The arbitrary number that you put there because you don't do enough research.
No, that number was based on the totality of deaths. My claim was that they participated in it. You were not critical of their actions in this clip.
Why did you put so you're telling me you've never claimed that Hezbollah has killed more Muslims than Israel has, that IDF has?
I don't know when I think I did say that, and I think that was wrong. I was incorrect.
Yeah, you've said that numerous times. You actually said you ChatGPT'd against AB when AB was like, I don't think that's correct.
Yeah, by the way, I that's something I looked into, and I was actually wrong about that for sure.
Okay, don't you feel like this kind of misinformation is somewhat? Don't you think that saying stuff like that is going to make people infer that you might be more pro-Israel than you let on?
Yeah,
because it doesn't.
You mean I'm Zionist?
Work like this, right? You're not just like clicking a box and you're like, well, I said it was a genocide. What more do you want from me? Okay, you did. But then you spend all of your time criticizing
responding
people
to harassment
who are offering analysis and not justification,
can I flip it on you a little bit?
Are actually formed. You're upset.
Hassan, you're doing it. You're doing it again.
I'm not doing anything. I'm hoping
bro.
to explain to you something so you recognize that you're wrong, as you've done twice now.
You don't need to explain anything to me. I understand your point. Don't you? So you're accusing me of being irresponsible with my words. Don't you think saying you have no issue with Hezbollah makes people think you're pro-terrorist?
I don't care that people think this. It's ridiculous.
So are people valid for thinking you're pro-terrorist?
Do you believe the State Department's designation for terrorism is valid?
Is it reasonable for people to think that you are pro-terrorist when you say I have no problem with Hezbollah?
Do you believe the State Department's designation for terrorism is valid?
You answer my question, and I'll answer yours. Are people valid?
Ethan,
and considering
you rely heavily on your audience not really understanding the terms that you are using.
Let it be noted you are dodging.
When you say, Hassan defends terrorists, okay,
literally
there's a reason why you say that. You say that to disparage me without actually addressing my arguments. And now when you're faced with me face to face to talk about these issues, you agree with me. So if you agree with me, you called Hezbollah a noble group. Should I just run around being like Ethan defends terrorism? I think you do, but
I said their actions were noble. I didn't call them a noble group. Again, you have a problem with the truth.
You just said that their inception was a noble one.
Yeah.
You said Hezbollah
it's different from saying Hezbollah is a noble organization. But I really need you to answer this. Isn't it reasonable for people to assume you're pro-terrorist if you say stuff like, I have no problem with Hezbollah? Just answer the question, yes or no.
I don't think it's reasonable for people to assume that I'm pro-terrorism because I think people are going to assume that regardless because I am.
People can assume I'm Zionist, but it's okay for it's okay for people to assume I'm Zionist.
Yes.
Got it. The logic is clear.
You don't understand what I'm saying. I get why people assume that. I get why people assume
you're pro-terrorist.
Yeah. Do you feel? Okay, let's talk about that then. Do you feel like someone being branded pro-terrorist is as impactful under the Trump administration as someone being pro-Israel is?
Well, as someone who's been branded as a pro-Israel Zionist in my space, it is a horrifically fucking it's resulted in the unbelievable, unprecedented. I've been on the internet for 10 years, right? I've been through all kinds of controversies, all kinds of shit. I have never once in my entire life, Hasan, experienced the amount of harassment, the organized, psychotic campaign to try to ruin my life, all of my employees' life, my family's life, their family's life. This is your community acting in response to what you're saying about me being pro-Zionist. So do I think it's worse? In my experience, it's much worse.
My community that's done any of these things that you're talking about.
Okay, Hasan, can I ask you a question? Why the fuck were you browsing H3Snark the other day and pulling clips from that?
I don't know. Someone fucking sent me a clip in the chat.
Okay. And so you shit and pissed about me pulling a meme from Destiny's subreddit. I have never even pulled the subreddit up, but you're on stream browsing H3Snark. How do you explain that?
Ethan, your entire subreddit is a snark subreddit dedicated to me. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's literally not true.
I don't have a single issue at this point. What are you talking about? You have personally moderated your own subreddit to turn into this, by the way. So many people that have criticized you from your own fan base have left your community
said your
for this
community
reason
has nothing to do with this.
You can't take a fucking ounce of criticism from your paying members. How many people are like, I love Teddy Fresh. I have so many fucking pieces of Teddy Fresh clothing. Now I feel embarrassed to wear it because look at what he has become.
There's plenty of fans. Don't worry about that.
Problem. If you want to talk about it, from the perspective of psychoanalysis, the real reason why you've gone on this endless vendetta is because you can't comprehend the reality.
Bro, I just want to have a conversation. I don't want to just
gish
gallop
you've
forever.
Cultivated has has a difference in opinion in the way that you've presented yourself throughout
Hasan,
this conflict.
Please,
and if
let me
you
just talk. This is, you say your community has nothing to do with the harassment that I've received.
Ethan, if you
please,
Ethan,
Hassan, let me finish a point.
If you demonstrated,
dude, you gotta let me finish a point. This is ridiculous.
I'm gonna mute you and just keep talking.
Okay, that's great. I think that means you won the debate.
Yeah. No, listen to me.
So I'm not muted. So hold on, let me finish. You gotta let me say something.
If you demonstrated a fraction of the humility you did just now, most people would not have left your community, by the way.
I don't care that they left the community. That was obvious.
You definitely do.
I've got plenty of fans left. Don't worry. Here, listen. You claim your community has nothing to do with the harassment. Yet you said in the same breath that your chat linked you to H3Snark, the subreddit primarily responsible for coordinating that harassment, and you pulled it up on your stream.
Do you have evidence that H3Snark called CPS on you?
Did I say that?
Like random anonymous
Did I say that?
Wait.
I said they're primarily responsible for harassing me.
Who called CPS?
What the fuck? So I don't know. Did I claim they did? You're dodging, bro. You are absolutely dodging. You claim your community has nothing to do with the harassment, yet you were browsing H3Snark. Now, let me ask you this, Hasan. How many times have I browsed the Destiny subreddit on my show?
Have blamed virtually everyone for calling CPS. Answer my question.
What?
So you don't know who called CPS, and yet for the past couple of months, you've been like, it's whoever I don't like that is called CPS.
No.
And now you're claiming that my community is responsible for it.
I think it's the tone. No, bro, what is wrong with you? Did I say your community called CPS? The harassment campaign is much more broad than that.
Yes, you're inferring it.
You can't address an actual issue, so you turn it into you're straw manning, basically. I'm saying your community is responsible for participating in this harassment campaign. You said chat sent you this link, did they not?
Yes, last week. What are you talking about?
Okay, so your chat is involved with H3Snark, which, by the way, funnily enough, the new Snark page is called Leftovers H3, and it's got a picture of you in the avatar.
Giving it a shout out. Shout out to Leftovers H3.
It's got a picture of you, Hasan. You don't need to shout him out. You're already doing it. Don't you think that's odd?
You did it.
No, I think it's
also, what do you think? Like, first of all, do you think I have any say on what fucking happens in these subreddits? What are you talking about?
Well, you have a say what happens in your Discord and chat, which you absolutely do not moderate. And there's so much evidence of the disgusting shit.
That's also completely fucking false.
Why did you criticize XQC for not moderating his chat when you called in?
Ethan?
Why
I can't believe you
did you criticize XQC for not moderating his chat?
Yes, XQC has actively used this community over the course of many years at this point, as he was, doing Gamba and wanted to fucking keep gambling and felt bad that I was criticizing him to attack me. Okay, there's a difference between
that's different than what your community has done. How?
What?
How is that different than your community attacking me?
You want to know how it's different? I have an 8-minute clip compilation all the way from when our podcast ended all the way to December of 2024 where I actively defend you. That is moderating my community.
I do not give a fuck about your quote unquote defending as your community went rabid with your approval. Please spare me.
With my approval? I just told you.
It's your community, bro. You literally say in this clip that it's let me play this clip for you because it will show just what a liar hypocrite you are.
People don't fucking like you, big dog. I don't know what to do.
They love you, huh?
What do you want me to do?
Fucking everybody loves Hasan. Everybody loves iDubbbz too.
Ethan,
my objective is not to be liked, Hasan. That might surprise you. It might surprise you. My objective in life is not to be liked. Or I mean, it's not to specifically be liked. That is not my objective. I know that's foreign to you.
Then why? Why are you bringing any of this up? People don't like you. I can't change that. Okay? There's plenty of people who don't like me either.
My whole career has been people not liking me, but I've never experienced this level of harassment. You are unwilling to contend or concede at any point that you are...
because I'm not responsible for it. Here, play this video, Dan. Here you go.
Anyway, it's not about being liked either. It's about harassment, bro.
Go ahead. Show your audience because you've been saying that I've been like
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it.
I sent it.
Are you?
It's embarrassing.
Sorry, hold on.
Especially
Dan is
because of the way you behave now. Ugh.
Dan is in the bathroom, so hold on. You okay?
My argument with you in that conversation where I said there's not anything I can do was literally because of the way you were presenting yourself. In the conversation that we had, you inferred that JVP was akin to capos. You said that from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
I'm not going to let you stunlock me again. Another pathetic fucking
Jewish
lie.
People.
Holy shit.
You literally fucking posted about a pro-Palestinian dude on Twitter saying that he would be thrown off of roofs like fucking Hamas is ISIS. If you say all of that, if it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, most people are going to not think that you're a chicken. They're going to think you're a duck.
Okay. I'm not going to get sunlocked by these insane accusations. I never called them capos. That's what you said. That's part of the harassment campaign. You put those words in my mouth, and now it's something that I still hear. I have never called them capos.
Wait. So you haven't, as recently as a month ago, still called them token Jews, that they are completely off base with the rest of the
Is that the same as capos? Do you have a problem with like levels? It's all or nothing. Is criticizing someone be a token the same as calling them capos?
Why would you call Jews who are standing against genocide, which you also recognize as a genocide?
Can I play this? This is the clip.
Token Jews that are not representative of the broader movement.
They're statistically
You also called Matt Lieb a capo.
Matt Lieb's a disgusting human being who platformed Bad Empanada, who's like you.
So you do have a problem. You do have a problem with
Matt Lieb specifically.
Jews
yes,
that you don't like, and you are quick
I have
to
a
call
problem
them
with
capos.
Matt Lieb, who's platforming Bad Empanada. Yes, clearly. Is there? You don't like Bad Empanada. You understand? A year ago, you were talking about how crazy he was.
But I'm not.
But suddenly, when he starts talking about me, he's your best friend. Interesting.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think Bad Empanada is insane. But you know what? I also
and all of a sudden, you love his videos. Why is that?
Bad Empanada.
Why do you love his videos suddenly? Before you pledged never to watch his videos on stream. Why do you love them now?
Oh, because he did not want me reacting to his videos.
That is insane, pathetic, bold-faced lie.
That's what it is. No, he said.
You literally told. Oh my god, dude.
I have.
Okay, first of all, let me play this clip of you criticizing XQC.
Okay, wait. You can't
all these other
let's watch it. You asked for it.
Actually,
hold on. You asked for this. Here's what you said.
Because it's not something he would ever ask for.
I sent you a clip.
All these
Why
other
aren't you
content
playing
creators actually, whipping their communities when their chat is going fucking absolutely bananas over random dumb shit and bringing my name up for no fucking reason. That you were just allowing that shit to run rampant in your chat, and I thought that was fucked up. Ethan, I love you, but there's only so much I can do, especially as someone who thought we were fucking friends. I think that's a reasonable expectation for someone who you consider to be a friend.
The problem wasn't that he was so
Palestinian. You have to show my clip now.
It makes sense.
Okay, no, great. Show my clip.
Sure.
Show my clip that I sent Dan.
Yeah, no problem. But there you go. I'm gonna pull it up for you. Oh yeah, TikTok. This is gonna be good. Ethan Klein debunked 7 minutes, bro. Hold on, I'm not gonna watch the 7 minute clip. What do you want me to watch?
7 minutes of it.
Okay, you think if I just play it from the beginning, they'll get the gist of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you'll get it.
All right.
And you can skip towards like the end too if you want, like towards the middle.
By the way, this has 1,000 likes, bro. Are you name searching yourself or what?
No, the person who made it sent it to me.
Oh, okay. Nice. I guess it's hard hitting.
Ethan is a mega Zionist. You are wrong. Okay, trust me. I don't think you know. I don't think you know many Zionists if you think Ethan is a mega Zionist. Not even close, dude. Time and time.
Funnily enough, that's still true.
Again, I've spoken about how Ethan is not your enemy. A person who cries when a Palestinian child dies is not your enemy. Okay? He's not. I've said these exact words over and over again.
The problem is that your community is obviously an unhinged, and if you don't defend me, my community is going to get mad at you. It's definitely just an optics play, which, by the way, you never stuck to.
Shut up. Keep playing.
Let me guess. It's more videos of you defending me?
Keep playing. Enough.
I told people in this community and people everywhere that will listen to what I have to say that you have to choose who you are actually angry at. There are people who are so loud and so proud about the ethnic cleansing campaign that Palestinians are experiencing currently. Go yell at them. He's been shitting on you on his members-only streams. I don't care. I don't care. Bro literally shot on you yesterday and his coworker for saying from the river to the sea, sorry, dog. I don't care. I
watched a minute of it. I really don't give a fuck what you said.
Keep going.
No. It's 7 minutes
we watched
long,
a
bro.
lot of your clips.
Spare the audience.
This is about you. Go on.
What are we going to glean from watching longer?
Keep playing it. This is just November 1st.
Nah, I don't want to
Go to
finish
the
it.
middle.
You get. I know what it is. You talk kindly about. Okay, here I'll go to the middle for you. Okay.
You think I'm not moderating my fucking community?
You absolutely
think I'm not
are
trying
not.
to get people to stop yelling about you at that point?
Okay, let me go to the middle so you can have your thing, and then we'll move on.
And it frustrates me to no fucking end. I've told you this time and time again in this time frame. Just like I kept telling you, Ethan is not your enemy over and over again. That's why I love iDubbbz, Ethan as well. People that have actually changed course, recognize their mistakes.
Okay, I mean, yeah, we get the idea. It's fine. You know what I mean? You're the best friend ever. By the way,
whoa.
No, whoa. My turn.
Well,